Hello, hello, hello. How you guys doing? This is Mr. Bolger coming in with the video on your test, and let's just jump right in. So I'm probably going to do, maybe I'll answer one or two per page, but this will at least have some, I'll just cover them. Number one, it asks you to use a protractor. You don't need to do that. However, you do need to answer this part of the question. I don't need the exact degrees, but tell me if it's acute, obtuse, or right angle, and you can just kind of judge this. Is it greater than 90 degrees, exactly 90 degrees, or less than 90 degrees? You tell me. Number two, given that ADB is 48 degrees, again, without a protractor, so you don't need it, tell me the measure of this. It's one of the rules that we covered early on in this chapter, just simple math. And is that complementary or supplementary? Moving right along, again, I'm going to read the directions. Use the figure at the right for the following problems. Assume angle 3 is a right angle. So remember, this little box in the corner means that it's a right angle. Okay, so list a pair of complementary angles. So again, anything that's a pair is just two. So list two angles that makes up 90 degrees. There's only one pair. Only one pair. Again, for number 4, it asks list all pair of numbered list all pairs of numbered supplementary angles. Again, a pair is just made up of two angles, so you're not going to use 3 or 4 when talking about supplementary angles. But again, what is a supplementary angle? I'll tell you there are two pairs. And you'll say, for example, angle A and angle B, angle C and angle D. Obviously, none of these are lettered. They're all numbered, so figure it out. Okay, number 5. If the measure of angle 5 is 120 degrees, find the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2. Interesting. That's a really good one. Again, using the definitions of complementary and supplementary angles, etc., etc. Okay. That's a really good one. I'm excited to see what you guys have to say for that. Use the figure at the right for the following questions. Assume lines A and B are parallel. Okay. Again, I kind of went over this yesterday, talking about vertical angles. Again, alternate interior, so that means it changes side. And it's inside. So we're talking about interior angles, so these 4, but it changes side. So it means that if it's this one is the same as this guy, these two are a pair of alternate interior angles. Same with these guys. Okay. A pair of corresponding angles. These are just two pairs that have, or two angles that have the same measure. Easy enough. And then if the measure of angle 6 is 135, what's this guy up here? Oh, that should be a question mark. My bad. Again, with vertical angles, alternate interior angles, supplementary angles, you should be able to work on that and figure it out. Okay, number 9. If the measure of one angle is right, what is the measure of Okay, so let me draw a picture. I'll actually answer this one. If the measure of one angle of a right triangle, so I've got a right triangle, that's what I'm going to draw first. So because it's a right triangle, I know that this is 90 degrees. One of the angles is 23, so I'll say this one is 23. What is the measure of the other? So this is what we're looking for. I'll put a question mark there. Well, we know that triangles, the measure of their interior angles is 180 degrees. Now I'm going to subtract these two that we know in order to get the remainder. So let's just do it like this. Minus 90 equals 90 degrees. Okay, so that's what we have left for these two. Then I'm going to have 90 minus 23. $67 degrees is the answer. Now, some of you might have used a calculator for this. Some of you might have done this in your head. This is the kind of stuff that I need to see. If I don't see work, you won't get the credit. Show me your work. And I could hear you now, but Mr. Bulger, I could do it in my head. That's great. Show me the steps that you took in your head. Thank you. Number 10, if the measure of the angles of a triangle are the ratio of 2, 2, and 1, what are the measures of the angle inside the triangle? Oh, interesting. So I know that, let's say this one is the 1, this is the 2, and this is 2 as well. Well, that means that this guy is x, this guy is 2x, this guy is also 2x. Well, we know that if we add these all up, 2x plus 2x plus x equals 180. Solve for x, and then tell me the value of each of the angles. The answer won't just be x equals something. You'll have to tell me this is one of the angles, this is the other angle, this is the final angle. Go ahead, let me know. Okay. Given the radius of a center circle in a soccer field is 10 yards, find its circumference. Aren't you guys glad that you have all your formulas there for you? Again, pictures, 10 yards. Don't forget your units. Circumference equals whatever the formula is. Tell it to me and show me your work. Determine the dimensions of the rectangle. If its length is 3 times the width and the perimeter, ooh, these ones are good. Oh, this is a hard test. Okay, dimensions of a rectangle. Here's my width, and my length is 3 times the width. So my length down here, I could just put length, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 3 times the width, 3w. Okay, and what that's going to do is I know that the formula for perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Now I'm just going to plug in what I have. So my perimeter, which is 112 centimeters, 2 times my length is 3 times the width, plus 2 times w. Okay, so I plugged it in for you. Solve for w, and then give me the length. So I need the length equals however whatever it is in centimeters, and then the width equals. Okay, don't forget your units. This you'll use the distance formula. This will be the midpoint formula. Okay. Moving right along. Find the perimeter of each triangle. Okay. Again, perimeter, we just add up the sides. These are your typical the special right triangles that we have. So we know this is 45 degrees, right? 45, 45, 90 triangle. Number 17, this is going to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. I think that was 12.6, maybe. Double check it. Give me all the ratios. It won't be a nice number because there are square roots involved. So just do the best you can. You don't need units here because they didn't give us units. So just give me whatever the number is. This one, it's going to be a number plus another number with a square root. This, again, so it's going to look like there's going to be a number here and a number here with a number there under the square root. Same thing here. Number plus another number times the square root of something. Okay, so fill out these spaces. Number 18. Do the following statements describe reflection, translation, or rotation? Okay, double check the notes. I also, in the review, there's a video. Video on review. Where this type of stuff is clearly expressed. Tell me. I believe one of these is used in each answer. I don't think they're going to be repeated. Okay, for number 19. Now, I know this has 4 parts. Yes, please answer all 4. And again, our angles need to line up with its corresponding one. So just tell me true or false. True or false, rather. Again, it's got to be corresponding. It's got to line up. So for example, for letter D, dx. So I'm actually going to draw it out. That's going to help me visualize this. But it's similar, so it's not the same size. It's just the same angles. Something like that. So dx, let me call this dxp, and this is going to be mz. Okay. So dx over mf equals xp over m. No, it's got to be corresponding, so this one is false, right? Because, again, I've got this line corresponding with that line. True, checks out. And then this line does not correspond with this line because the letters are out of order. So this answer is false. Number 20. What is the point of reflection through the y-axis? Okay. This kind of stuff, you could probably just skip it. So 7, negative 12. So again, it's trying to reflect. Actually, you don't skip it. Do this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'll just call this negative 12. So this is 7, comma, negative 12. But remember, it's reflecting through the y-axis, not the x-axis. So it's reflecting this way or this way. What is its point over here going to be called? That'll be your answer. Okay. Given that these triangles are similar, find x. Ooh, this is a really good one. Number 21. So what we're going to need to do here is we've got to do a a couple different proportions. First, we do need to find. Actually, we don't need to find. We don't need to find y. Just do a proportion relating these sides with these sides. Solve for x. So much like on this side, how we had a proportion like that. Do something like that, comparing these numbers with these numbers. Solve for x. 22. If one parallelogram, actually, you know what? Why don't I just? It'll look something like this. Cross multiply and then solve for x. Okay. 22. If one parallelogram has sides 4 and 5, and a similar parallelogram has a smaller side of 6. Oh, okay. Okay, so parallelograms. 4, 5. Oh wow, that is something else. Okay. But it says that on this one, that the smaller side, so it's relating to this one, is 6. Solve for x. So again, we're going to do something similar to that. We're solving for x. How many lines of symmetry? How many times can you cut this bad boy in half? Well, I'll tell you it's at least 2. More than 2. The answer is more than 2, and I'll say it's less than 10. It's less than 6. Okay. The degrees of rotational symmetry less than 360 in the figure above. So if I had a point right here in the middle, how far am I going to have to turn this bad boy in order for it to line up with itself? Okay, let me know. 25. This is a tough one. This is a doozy. So I've got a triangle. It's not drawn to scale. I don't actually know what it looks like. So let me just do it like that. So it's not exactly a... And this point is at, I'll just call this A, B, and C. So first what we need to do is we need to use the distance formula. But we need to do the distance formula for AB, BC, and CA. So we need to do the distance formula 3 times. Second, what we need to do the Pythagorean theorem. And that will prove if it's a right triangle. All right, guys, best of luck. If you need help, shoot me an email. Love you guys.